Haiden Deegan told Jason Wigant on SMX Insider exactly why he leans into the swagger on race day. Because it works. He didn't frame the bravado as a gimmick or a social media mask, but as a competitive tool he can switch on at will. The confident walk, the sharp sound bites, the chest-out posture, he calls that the cocky, arrogant Haiden, and he believes that persona is directly correlated with performance. It sharpens his focus, raises his internal standards, and forces him to embrace pressure rather than tiptoe around it. He admits there's a cost. The mental load is heavy, the gnarliest pressure I put on myself, and he doubts many rivals could carry it race after race. But for Deegan, the heat is a catalyst. The more attention and expectation he invites, the more intensely he rides toward the standard he's set in public. That philosophy bleeds into how he views the jump to 450mx. He rejects the idea that the premier class will be some disorienting culture shock. Instead, he points to recent reference points. R.J. Hampshire and Justin Cooper standing on 450 podiums, his own rookie year scraps with Hunter Lawrence, as proof the gap isn't a canyon. In his view, some critics are searching for an angle because I'm so dominant right now. And that chorus doesn't rattle him. It motivates him to validate the talk. He's not pretending it will be effortless either. The plan is to lock in over the next year, stack boring, high-quality days, and discover the true ceiling when the gate drops. Maybe the step is easier than expected, maybe it's harsher. He's prepared for either outcome and willing to do the work to find out. The most convincing piece for him is the motorcycle itself. The first time he climbed onto a factory 450, the difference felt like a revelation. Where a 250 demands constant aggression to keep it singing, the 450's torque lets him create speed earlier in the corner and carry it longer down the straight. He talked about the start in particular, how the hit off the grate feels like someone doubled his engine, and suddenly the timesheets made sense. On the same track, with clean execution, a 450 can qualify notably quicker than a 250 because the extra power compresses mistakes and magnifies efficiency. That sensation, the feeling that the bike amplifies his natural strengths, is what convinces him there's another level waiting once he lives on the big bike full-time. There's also a psychological edge to that power. Deegan thrives on decisiveness, late break passes, immediate counterattacks, momentum swings that turn into highlight reels, and he believes the 450's torque profile gives him more ways to make those plays stick. He's quick to acknowledge the other side of the equation. More power means heavier consequences for sloppy inputs, and the premier class punishes overriding. That's why his focus is on discipline as much as daring. The work ahead isn't just gym time and motos. It's refining throttle control on rough exits, calibrating engine brake feel into ruts, and learning how to keep the rear tire hooked up when the track breaks apart in the final 10 minutes. The persona draws the spotlight, but the stopwatch decides the argument, and he knows the stopwatch only moves with craft. Deegan also framed pressure as an intentional part of his preparation. Talking big isn't about baiting rivals, it's about constructing a standard he then has to meet. He understands that posture invites skepticism, and he's fine with it because the pressure becomes a training partner. When he says he's going to 450 and expects to be competitive, he has to build days that back it up. Start practice until the first shift is automatic, sprint laps that simulate the chaos of lap 1, longer runs where he executes while mentally tired. That's how he converts the external noise into an internal metronome. He isn't promising instant domination. He's promising consistent, measurable progress toward that other level he felt the first time he cracked the throttle on a factory 450.
Importantly, he isn't claiming certainty about the outcome. He repeated that no one will know until he races. That reservation isn't hedging, it's realism. The premier class is deeper, the race craft nastier, the margin for error smaller, and the calendar longer. There will be weekends when the track or the bike or his body fights him. What he's betting on is that the same ingredients that fueled his 250 dominance, embracing pressure, setting public goals, living with the scrutiny, will accelerate his adaptation rather than slow it down. He believes the people around him can already see the difference, and that confidence doesn't come from hype, it comes from lap times. Strip it to the core, and his message stays the same as your original. The persona is a tool, not a mask. The pressure is fuel, not a hazard. And the 450 isn't a cliff to fall from, but a platform that could unlock speed he can't fully access on a 250. Whether the class hits back and forces an adjustment is the story we'll all watch unfold. For now, Deegan's stance is clear. He'll keep talking, keep inviting the wait, and keep building the kind of days that turn big words into bigger results when the gate finally drops.